100th career game. He's been around the stump a few times, as they say back home.
All right, jump ball is tapped out, and it's the Idaho Vandals, the team who leads the Big Sky in three-point percentage, a dynamic offense, and they'll have the first possession of the game. There is Mikey Dixon, as you talked about. A lot of eyes on him tonight.
They tried to go to him right away with a little set play, did not have the shot, and gave it up.
An offensive foul as Rashad Smith was skying in from that left angle.
Rashad Smith coming off a 17-point game. In their last game, they scored 93 points. That's the good news. The bad news is they gave up 96, but Rashad Smith, a 17-point game, and a great job by Bassett getting that charging foul.
Well, you want to win some confidence of teammates. It's one thing to make buckets. It's another thing to come in the start right away and draw a charge. Overton gets in the paint. McEwen is going to go out to Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones with a beautiful spin move in the paint, but couldn't finish.
Dylan Jones coming off a monster game in Missoula, 17 points and a career high 16 rebounds.
Take a look at the Idaho starting five there on your screen as we see it. And Trevante Anderson, a guy whose scoring average is up 11 points from last year.
Well, the two guards are averaging 30 points between them. That's why it is so important for the Wildcats to get out and guard the three-point line.
Way off on the three from Rashad Smith, a guy who's shooting 47% from three in conference play. Soho Jawara for Overton. Soft little mid-ranger, doesn't get it to go, but earns a trip to the line.
Boy, and the cardinal sin of playing defense is to foul a guy at when he's shooting a jump shot. And not only was that a tough shot, but the Weber State defender let him off the hook and sent him to the free throw line.
J.J. Overton is a guy so many have to enjoy watching play if you are a fan of Weber State basketball. He's third in the Big Sky in steals. He's a 50-40-70 guy as well. 50 from the field, 40% from three, and 70% from the free throw line, although he goes 50% on that trip. And it's a 1-0 game.
Third leading scorer on the team and leads them in steals and blocks, as you mentioned. He gets a lot done other than just scoring the ball.
Tough as well. Mikey Dixon being harassed by Soho Jawara, and a deflection defensively by Overton. Shot clock is winding its way down to 6, and a foul on the drive as Rashad Smith was going to the rack.
And that's where Weber State has to maintain their discipline on defense, Tony. They did a great job of guarding the ball until it got down under double digits on the shot clock, and then you got to expect the Vandals then to put their head down and drive it to the basket. Dylan Jones, the leading rebounder in the league, second leading scorer on this team. They can ill afford to get him in foul trouble early in the game.
Rashad Smith, the junior from Chandler, Arizona. At the line for two.
One of two transfers from Grand Canyon University. He and Mikey Dixon, their leading scorer.
Zach Claus with 6 transfers on this team, 3 freshmen. And both free throws good here for Rashad Smith. The Vandals winless on the road, but that game against Eastern Washington, they gave them a great push there late, and they've had a number of games where they've put themselves in position to win.
Well, as I said, this is a team that scores it pretty easy. It's the other end of the court that they have to be a little bit more attentive like that. They got caught in a rotation there and left Jawara wide open at the three-point line.
That makes it 4-2. Weber State in the early going has the 2-point lead. Anderson trying to come around the screen. Now goes straight away to Mikey Dixon. Fadeaway three is going to be no good. That was contested well. And Weber State with Soho Jawara on the rebound and on the push.
Nice job by Jones getting a hand up on that jump shot. All 4 perimeter guys are going to have to guard Mikey Dixon because there's so many ball screens, handoffs that they're going to switch off to one another. So everyone, including Dylan Jones, who's normally guarding a power forward, is going to have to guard the high-scoring Mikey Dixon.
A lot of weave at the top. Eventually, Overton's going to start swirling his way into the paint. Puts one off the handle, no good. A tough rebound there by Youssef Salih.
Pretty good defensive game planning there by the Vandals. When the two Weber State players that weren't three-point threats in Overton and Dylan Jones on those handoffs, the Vandals are going under those and daring them to shoot it in from the outside. When McEwen and Jawara hand it off, they're going over the top or switching that.
On the block, Dylan Jones. He's got one-on-one here against Smith. Pivots, fades, and falls short on that floater at that moment. So here comes Idaho the other direction, trailing 4-2 here in the early going.
Good post defense by Smith. The key to post defense is just stay down and make the guy try to score over you, and Jones was not able to do that.
Three is good from Mikey Dixon. The young man from Newcastle, Delaware. 5th in the Big Sky in scoring. As you mentioned, at 17.5 a game. Had 25 in that battle against Eastern Washington. And another defensive stop here for the Idaho Vandals. And they'll make some substitutions here.
3 in, 3 out for the Vandals there. And the Wildcats have got to keep track of Mikey Dixon on the perimeter. And he was left wide open there because they gave up dribble penetration. Tony, anytime you give up dribble penetration, that's going to break your defense down, and they're going to be able to find open guys on the perimeter, and that's exactly how Mikey Dixon got to that last three-point shot. Coming off a 25-point game in their loss at Eastern Washington last weekend.
Javante Anderson has it poked and stolen away by Kobe McEwen. Sissoko Jawara pedaled down into the lane, misfires on the little 5-footer. Welcome back to the D Event Center here in Ogden. A clunky start is why you would describe it, Coach, here in the early going. 5-4, Idaho on top.
Score and the conference leading rebounder in foul trouble, and that is exactly what has happened.
Weber State has had a rough start offensively when looking at the shooting. They're just 1 of 6 from the field. It's also been a rough start for Idaho offensively. 3 turnovers.
Well, keep in mind, Weber State has not played in 12 days, Tony, so that could explain a little bit of a rusty start here, going 1 of 6.
Great take, but a tough finish. As that time on the drive, Ethan Kilgore couldn't put it away.
Gabe Quinnett,
excuse me. It ends up being a turnover now to Weber State.
But the alarming thing there is that's 2 possessions in a row that the Vandals have gotten right to the rim, even though Quinnett did not make it go in. As I said, you give up too much dribble penetration, that's going to open up those 2 guards shooting from the 3-point line.
Overton was setting a screen, got knocked over, and the foul is going to go against Kilgore. If you were Coach Randy Ray during that timeout to ignite what you want to do here offensively, what's the first thing you're looking for on this first set of possessions out of this timeout?
Well, being as intellectual as I am, I would say let's try to make a couple shots, boys. How about that?
But you like what they're getting in their offense. Yeah.
I do. They've not played for 12 days, and it takes you a little while to kind of get going. But they've had good ball movement. I've not seen any bad shots yet, and there was a real nice pick and roll. And the Vandals are going to have to do a much better job of defending that as they allowed Cody Carlson to screen and roll right to the basket uncontested.
Well done by Kobe McEwen and Cody Carlson there. High pass out to the corner and a hard drive into the paint, but unable to finish it was Kilgore. Weber State the other way. Kohler on the push. Goes up in the paint and scores, and it's 8-5.
And Kohler, mostly known as a 3-point shooter. In fact, 29 of his 43 shots are from the perimeter, but he has really become a valuable asset coming off the bench for the Wildcats.
Dixon with a nice move. Fouled at the rim, but couldn't get the finish, and they're saying Carlson swung into Dixon on that drive. Carlson didn't like the call.
Well, when Dixon puts his head down and tries to get to the basket, you better stay down and guard multiple moves, Tony. He's not what you call a straight line driver. He's kind of a water bug. He's going to give you a little shooky here and shooky there, and it's hard to stay in front of him. Wow.
Shooky.
A
is
little
the way you describe it. Yeah. Well, that explosive first step was so evident watching it down here at this level. You can see kind of separation that he can get.
I like the shooky.
But, well, that's the explosiveness with change direction, right?
That's exactly right. And a kid who's hit 46 of his last 48 free throws and 25 of 26 in the last 2 games. Missed his first one, obviously knocked in his second one.
And so that'll make it 8-6 here at this moment. Both teams have been trying to find their footing on the offensive end. And in for Weber State now is Zaire Porter, 6'6" young man out of the Bronx.
Zaire Porter started every game with the exception of one. Last season has kind of turned into a super sixth man this year, and the Vandals coming with a hard trap. That's the second different press they've shown here in the first 7 minutes.
Porter finds a nice jumper on the left angle, and it's 10-6 Weber State. Welcome to the game, Zaire Porter.
Zaire Porter played 19 games in Missoula, had 5 points, no rebounds, but he is very capable of putting up big numbers.
Wide open underneath, Philip Pebble Jr. from Shoreline, Washington. Talk about guys who have had a tough time being great defenders for that team. Pebble's been a bright spot. Carlson on the other end, no good, great defense. Going up high was Pebble.
Well, we've seen it at both ends, Tony. When that ball screen takes place straight away from the basket, it really distorts who is the weak side defender and picking up that roll guy. Both teams have gotten one of those so far.
McEwen skying in but couldn't get it to go. 2-on-1 the other way. Anderson takes it himself, has it knocked out of bounds. And great transition defense to get back there by Zaire Porter.
Well, you can see why Trevante Anderson and Mikey Dixon get to the free throw line a lot. They are ultra aggressive. And while some guys avoid contact, they try to get contact, kind of like a heat-seeking missile. They're going to find your body.
Boy, Dixon saloon doors the pick and roll, but couldn't get the finish. Pebble the putback. He has 4 in the early going.
Pebble, one of the top shot blockers in games played, second in the Big Sky in conference games played, I meant to say. Kobe McEwen, a nice job of finding the open guy on the perimeter.
Kohler, who had 3 big threes against Montana State, misfires on that corner 3. But the versatility offensively of McEwen there to put him in the post, even if he's not the tallest guy on the floor.
Well, he's quite the physical specimen, and if he backs you down, and there once again is Trevante Anderson getting to the free throw line.
The versatility of Weber State's backcourt is going to be interesting in this conference as the season moves into the deep part in the tournament. Dylan Jones and Kobe McEwen. First of all, McEwen with that green light can really start to light it up a number of times and score in bunches. Dylan Jones, the versatility to play point, to play so well in the paint with his size. They're an interesting matchup for a number of teams in this conference, especially when the money's on the table.
Well, they're going to be a tough matchup for anyone. Kobe McEwen at 6'4", 195 is a physical specimen, and you talk about his versatility. How about this? This is his 132nd game, almost unparalleled experience. Of course, that goes across 3 different schools. Dylan Jones, the second-year freshman, he's just good. I don't know what else to say about that. He's just a good player.
Porter swirls out a 3 on the left angle. And Idaho with an 11-10 lead as this game has grinded its way up to this point. Just over 12 minutes left in the first half.
Idaho hit 13 threes in their loss at Washington State. That's a good news. They gave up 14 threes to Eastern Washington. So you talk about an old-fashioned shootout. I'm not sure this one's going to be that high scoring, but guys are shooting it pretty free and easy.
1-point game, and one where both offenses are trying to find that rhythm they're accustomed to playing with. As that ball's thrown out of bounds. Some turnovers here for Idaho, missed free throws. For Weber State, they keep getting the ball in the paint, missing some chances there. And Dylan Jones being out hasn't helped.
Well, that's Idaho's first turnover. You're exactly right. Not having your conference leading rebounder, your second leading scorer, not in the game with Dylan Jones, has not helped the Wildcat cause any.
Weber State with 5 turnovers. Or excuse me, Idaho with 5 turnovers now so far in this game. Weber State without any. Driving in hard is Overton. There's Porter as he slashes to the hoop. And he'll go to the line for 2.
And
yeah, they've been able to get into the paint a variety of different ways,
they
just haven't finished.
They have. And neither team has played a possession of zone so far. The Vandals have played a little zone press back to a man-to-man. Here's a very concerning stat. If you're Randy Ray and the Wildcats, the Vandals have the Wildcats doubled up in rebounds right now, 10-5. That's not a good thing, especially early in the game when you're trying to establish yourself on the glass.
Zaire Porter is a 92% free throw shooter. He is tremendous from the charity stripe, and he continues to play well from that spot there.
24 out of 26 now on the year.
You will take that, especially when you know a guy goes to the line and it's guaranteed money. You take it every time. Rashad Smith underneath to a spinning Tanner Christensen, has it blocked right there by Dante Bassett, making the start tonight.
Bassett made a nice play there at the end, but boy, he let Christensen catch that ball way, way too deep in the paint.
McEwen answers with a 3 on the other end to complement the great defensive play. And it's 15-11, Weber State.
Pretty nice combination in the game right now for the Wildcats. They're on a little bit of a run, and as we have mentioned, without Dylan Jones.
Trying to answer on the other end is Nolan Berton, and he's unable to hit it. So it goes now to Bassett, who's backing in on the block. 5-footer off the handle, no good, and the ball's tapped around and grabbed by Smith.
Now, if I'm Coach Zach Claus, I'm wanting to get maybe a little bit better shot than what Berton just kind of cast up there the last time. He was fairly open, but there may be a reason you're fairly open when you're out there like that.
It's usually what they said to me. There's a steal. Sissoko Jawara. 7-0 run for Weber State, 17-11 the lead.
Jawara, the 4th leading scorer on this team, who leads them in assists. I think he has been very kind of flying under the radar, so to speak, all year. He's been pretty solid. I talked about in our first broadcast, Tony, he's actually playing a new position this year.
That 3 is a big answer that time, and much needed. Rashad Smith, who's 47% from 3 in conference play. Timely bucket there, and there goes Zaire Porter with another great slash to the hoop and another trip to the free throw line. Coach Claus did not like that call.
Well, that's not the guy you want to foul either. Zaire Porter started every game last year with the exception of one, and he can put it on the floor and get there. And he is listed at 6'6", but man, is he long. He's got arms like well ropes on him, and when he gets into the paint, it doesn't take him but about a hiccup to get it right at the rim.
Weber State has had interesting struggles in different parts this year. Defending the 3 is one of them. They allowed a lot of deep catches in those games against Montana, those 2 Montana schools at times. And then the other thing they end up doing, though, is they have really athletic guys who can get into the paint, that can get to the rim, that can get to the line, as they are one of the best in the country at free throws per field goal attempt, 18th in the country in that area.
Well, they have done some things very well this year. Obviously, they won their first 8 games, the best start in 36 years, and then they've played some good people. Their 5 losses have been against good teams, but they've kind of lost their way on a little bit in terms of shooting it in from 3, defending the 3, rebounding. They are not a great rebounding team, especially at the offensive end.
The ball bounces off the rim for Tanner Christensen. Weber State looking to try to make defense into offense.
Tanner Christensen had a couple really nice low post catches there, but just can't seem to make one go in.
So Soho Jawara with a nice fader there in the lane. It's 21-14. It is now an 11-3 run.
Soho Jawara coming off only a 6-point game at Montana, is having a very, very good first half.
And back to your point about the deep catch there for Tanner Christensen. He's had great moves. He's had great positioning.
That's tough to miss where he caught that one. That was a lob, and he was right at the rim then.
Kohler no good on that 3-point attempt. As losing the ball there for a minute is King, and a foul is going to be called against Porter. Porter didn't like that because he thought King was out of control with the ball there, but the contact still may have been too much.
Loose ball foul there, and now with Porter and Overton, extended minutes, they are kind of the same position player. Weber State playing very small now without a post at all. Dylan Jones back in the game with 2 fouls, and they have probably played their best basketball this year when they are playing small.
Another three-point attempt. That's going to clang off the rim for Salih.
Salih, the freshman, getting his first start of his young career. He's played in every game this year.
Porter airballs. Zaire Porter, one of those guys to contribute with 6 of those. Well, it's now a 5-point game.
When you have a guy like Porter coming off your bench, and again, he started every game with exception 1 last year, that is a good thing. Nice steal by Dylan Jones there. Great
Dylan Jones, that's the first Weber State turnover of the game after that travel. Dylan Jones has to be one of the best or one of the most instinctual players in this conference as well.
Well, I think he has great, as you say, great basketball instincts overall, but he is a terrific instinctual rebounder. He has a great knack for tracking the ball, coming from one side of the rim to the other to get it. And like I said before, you don't have to kind of split hairs. He's just a good player.
Nice move inside as Tanner Christensen gets the bucket there to make it 21-18.
But they're going to have to figure that out. They can't let Tanner Christensen catch it that low in the paint with Dylan Jones on him at 6'6" and Tanner Christensen at 6'10".
Kohler earns a trip to the free throw line where Weber State is 5 for 6 so far on the game.
You mentioned the impact that Tyson Kohler had on the Montana State game. It was a very, very tight game, and he came in, hit back-to-back three-point shots that gave the Wildcats a 6-point cushion, and then just about a minute later hit his third one. That kind of broke the game open.
Kohler, 75% from the line, makes both. Bassett will now come in for Kohler as it's 23-18 Weber State. The deep catches has been an issue for Weber State defensively in the recent games. It's been a problem here so far tonight, and Tanner Christensen has taken advantage even on a number of occasions where he hasn't been able to get the finish. Now he's got the big O board. Goes back out, Anderson for 3, and that's off the rim. Kobe McEwen the rebound, outlet to Soho Jawara. Back to McEwen.
The Vandals' 2 leading scorers with only 5 points between them so far, Tony.
Bassett unable to finish on that opportunity there. And how about a 3-point attempt on the way, and good. What a first half for Rashad Smith, for Tanner Christensen, and for the Idaho Vandals fighting for their first Big Sky win of the year.
Rashad Smith, as you mentioned earlier, shooting 47% from 3 in conference games only. He caught that one right in stride. And Dylan Jones, a 30% three-point shooter. He caught that one and made the Vandals pay as well.
Dylan Jones averaging 13 points a game. He started with 2 quick fouls here tonight. And then especially while trying to defend in the paint after the catch, it's been a very tough battle for him. So trying to play smart, trying to play careful, but also be effective. Underneath Christensen, put it on the floor. Dylan Jones steals. Here comes Jones. Pass fake, shot fake, now pass, and a score for Soho Jawara.
Dylan Jones' second steal of the half, and coming into this game, he was not only second on the team in assists, he was only 4 points behind Jawara, the starting point guard, for the lead in the team assists.
He faked the pass and the shot, and then went back to the pass. Offensive foul. Bassett, that's the second time he's drawn a charge. Doing so many positive things here with this start.
Well, after Dylan Jones allowed Christensen, and again, Dylan Jones playing with 2 fouls, Christensen got that real deep post catch and laid it up. Coach Randy Ray immediately then went to Bassett to match up size-wise a little quicker. Really alert move, so to speak, by Coach Ray or by one of his assistants, and got a little bit bigger lineup in there.
A little bit earlier on, great defensive play by Jones to get that steal. But that may be one where Christensen doesn't need to put the ball on the ground there on that earlier takeaway. Lob underneath for Bassett. And contact and a foul, and I believe that is Idaho over the foul limit. It is.
And Vandals kind of letting the Wildcats off the hook there. Colby McEwen in between, because Colby McEwen lobbed that up into a crowd of Vandals trying to get Bassett an easy basket. That was kind of an ill-advised pass that turned out pretty well as the Vandals fouled Bassett.
Missing the front end of a 1-and-1 is the equivalent to a turnover, is what a coach told me once.
I think that can be debated, but that's probably pretty close to being true.
Pepple with the lay-in.
Terrific
now
pass.
At 28-23, great dish.
Javante Anderson, one of the best assist-to-turnover ratio guys in the Big Sky. Boy, he put that one through a crack in the door.
So Jawara whips it back outside to Dylan Jones. Now he'll go to McEwen. McEwen steps back, goes back to Jones for another three. It's good. Dylan Jones playing with 2 fouls, but still being so effective on both ends.
As I said, Dylan Jones, 9 for 30 from the three-point line coming in here. People early especially were backing up job on the Idaho Vandals' 2 leading scorers, and Javante Anderson and Mikey Dixon, making them work virtually for everything they get. No real wide open looks for either one of them.
Anderson against Overton. Let's go back out. Dixon. Great defense by McEwen. And a defensive rebound by Overton and a foul 94 feet from the basket. It's a big one. It'll put Overton at the line. And Overton is a 70% free throw shooter. He'll go to the line to shoot 1-and-1 when we come back. It's 31-23. Weber State on top of Idaho with Big Sky Basketball on ESPN+. 3:51 here left in the half. 31-23. Weber State on top of Idaho. Thanks so much for being with us here tonight. J.J. Overton at the line, shooting 1-and-1, 9 team fouls here against Idaho in the first half. And Weber State 7-9 from the line, and I'll make it 7-10. They've missed each of their last 1-and-1 attempts on the front end.
Weber State 3 of their last 5, though, Tony, from the three-point line has really helped them build this 8-point lead, plus the fact they have only 1 turnover here in the first 17 minutes.
Heppel rises high but can't finish on that floater. Here comes Overton up the court. Here's Sissoko Jawara, who had a good look 3, but an offensive foul will give the ball back to Idaho.
And that was just a turnover waiting to happen. Overton making the right decision, but you've got to come to a jump stop there and to avoid that foul. It's kind of interesting. Weber State's only had 1 guy foul out of a game this year, and it's been J.J. Overton has done it 3 times.
McEwen couldn't finish the takeaway. It's like a dropped interception in football.
Boy.
And he's mad at himself because he thought he had
a
basketball's version of pick six.
He did. It hit him in a bad place, though, right in the hand. Sometimes that is the toughest place to pull them in for, but Weber State playing with a little bit more snap and pop in their step now.
I think
they started.
Feel the opportunity to extend here before half to really put together a great run, but they've missed those front ends of the 1-on-1. The drop on that steal. Pepple with the ball underneath and scores the easy bucket. Great find by Anderson.
Well, the Vandals have done a nice job of executing that, and again, when that takes place straight away from the basket, it really distorts who's supposed to pick up the roll there, but the Wildcats need to get that figured out.
Overton, another mid-range jumper. It's smooth. J.J. Overton.
And you just got to know when you're closing to J.J. Overton, he's not a guy looking to shoot the three-point shot. He's looking to do exactly what he just did. Put it on the floor, a dribble or 2, and pull it up.
Mikey Dixon, unable to get that one to go. Dixon with 4 points here in the early going. Weber State defensively has keyed in on him. McEwen underneath is called for an offensive foul for wiping away.
Back-to-back offensive fouls for the Wildcats now, and those both go as turnovers, which is number 2 and 3. They'd played 17 minutes and only had 1 turnover, which is terrific. Now, another area of concern after that last timeout, Weber State did not have a single offensive rebound. They had closed the gap on the glass with Idaho. Idaho still was leading that 15-11, but usually Randy Ray's teams historically have been very good offensive rebounding teams.
Skying in is Anderson, and it's back to a 4-point game.
Boy,
a 6-point game.
As soon as you let your guard down, those 2 Idaho guards can really make you pay.
Kohler, another trip to the line.
And as you'd mentioned earlier, Weber State really finding their way to the free throw line, and they have been doing that the entire half. Now, they've not cashed in as well as what they would have liked, missing 2 front ends of one-on-ones.
And there's another miss from the free throw line. So the front ends of the 1-and-1.
That's 3 straight misses, isn't it, Tone?
3 straight misses, but it is also combined with the fact of 5 potential points that are missed out on.
Could you call that a hat trick, 3 straight misses? I guess maybe the wrong sport, but I guess me and you can call it that if we want to.
Kohler gets that one. He's a 75% free throw shooter. And Kohler in this game is now 1 for 4, is 3 for 4 at the free throw line, which is that percentage. 34-27 the score. Anderson gets underneath. They eventually kick it back out for a 3 to Quinnett, and it's no good.
And the Wildcats did a lot better job of guarding that ball screen. That ball screen then is followed by then a down screen or maybe a back screen, usually for one of the guards, and Weber State switched all of that and did a really nice job of that.
McEwen, NBA range. That's off.
When McEwen shoots that step back 3, he loves going to his left and creating a little space on there.
Porter fires it up, no good. Loose ball, foul, and a flop. Warning is going to be called on Porter in the corner.
John Stigliano, a longtime official that followed his father's footstep, who was a longtime official. Those guys have been around forever and a day, he and his father.
The addition to this rule, by the way, the flop warning and then the technical foul.
I think so.
Trying to get that out of the game?
Yeah, I think that takes some of the theatrics, so to speak, out of it, and I think that is a pretty good rule.
I was not a good actor, but I was certainly a better actor than I was a basketball player. So
Idaho, the turnovers are just killing them now. With 11 turnovers here in the half.
The jump ball is going to go to Weber State. And, just another missed opportunity as they've been able to get the ball deep into the paint. They've been able to get some good looks from beyond the arc. It's added up to 27 points for Idaho here on offense on the game. They've had their hit-and-miss moments. So has Weber State in a variety of different ways, whether it's at the free throw line or from the field. Overton slashing.
Overton, when he gets it in a crease in the defense, he can get from here to there in a hurry. Long and lanky. Now, this is the first time this year I have seen he and Porter playing extended minutes together. I've not seen every game, but you talk about putting 2 long, lanky athletes on the court. That is Porter and Overton.
Misfires on that free throw as Weber State has left a lot of points from the charity stripe here in the recent stretch of play.
Now, this is a momentum possession for the Vandals. If they can score here and go down just a handful of points, they'll feel pretty good about things at halftime.
Anderson able to get into the paint, but unable to come up with points, and Weber State will play for the final shot here of this first half.
Has a nice job by Colby McEwen rotating over and putting his body between Anderson and the basket, causing that miss.
McEwen, no. Follows it, yes. And that is how the Cats, their team with just 3 first-half turnovers, and that was certainly a big deal to help them get out to a 38-27 lead. We'll see what Idaho has here in the early going. Dixon to Anderson.
And a nice job by Weber State sharing the ball. 6 assists in the first half. They only had 6 for the game in their game against Montana.
Smith had 8 first-half points, but misfires on that 3. Overton back to Jones. He's hit 2 threes, and he misfires on this one. And the lead stays at 11.
I mentioned Jones only a 30% three-point shooter coming this game, but each game he gains more and more confidence, it seems, shooting it in from 3.
Another miss from deep, and 3 for 10 is Idaho so far in the game. So Soho Jawara with 11.
And that was a nice decision by Jawara to go to that little pull-up jump shot there. I mentioned earlier, I think he has had to make a little bit of transition. Last year he played alongside a terrific point guard, and he played the wing. This year he's playing the point, which kind of changed the dynamics a little bit for him.
Bassett rejects it. Showing some of that Oaktown power.
Remember, Bassett, the first play of the game, picked up a offensive charge.
McEwen with the interception. Beautiful move in the lane. It's a 15-point lead.
McEwen is just
contact
terrific.
and an offensive foul. And the wheels are starting to wobble for Idaho here in the early moments of the second half.
Well, I was blocked out on that. Did he push off on that? Dixon, I'm speaking of.
Running alongside each other, Overton. And it looked like I just saw that it was a collision out of the corner of my eye. Didn't quite see exactly how that happened, but just saw the call.
Coach Zach Claus asking for my opinion on that. I guess he didn't hear me say I was blocked out, so I have no opinion.
You'd be a very good replay review guy. Bassett for 3, and that's off.
I was mentioning Bassett started this half off with a block. He started the game off with picking up a charge. He's really made himself known at the defensive end more than the offensive end.
Played incredibly hard.
Yes, he has.
Without the ball.
His first start of the game. He'd only played 3 games this year up to the day. So I think maybe Randy Ray may be getting closer to having that post position solved.
And now, after the miss, a flop is called. This is the second one, and it'll be a technical free throw.
Yeah.
The coaches were all over it, that if it wasn't a foul, it must be a flop. And they waited until after the missed shot and called the flop.
You asked me if I like that call or that rule. I like it. I wouldn't like it if it was called against my team, but as a broadcaster, I think it helps clean things up quite a bit.
And they feel like even if there was contact, that there wasn't enough for that kind of reaction is, I guess, the way that they would explain that. The free throw is good. Weber State keeps the ball.
You know, I don't get quite as riled up about those calls sitting here with you as I did when I was sitting down there in Randy Ray's chair, let me tell you.
How many times when you got riled up about a call did you think to the back of your mind, like, that was actually a good call? He got that right.
Well, I always tell this story on one of the best officials, maybe the best official in the nation, my old friend Vern Harris, who's been here very much. I was coaching the Wildcats down at BYU, and he called an offensive foul on one of my post guys posting up, and Vern ran by me. I said, "What, Vern, did he push off or what?" And he said, that was an awful call, Coach. So, you know, and he shut me up pretty quick after that. I had no response to that.
Overton, with that bucket now, makes it a 16-point lead. That is the biggest lead of the game here for Weber State.
J.J. Overton having a pretty nice game now with 7 points.
Christensen has had some deep catches here so far in the game. Another turnover against Idaho. But Bassett has done a nice job defending him after the catch and keeping him away from some of the spots he wants to receive the ball. Bassett playing incredibly tough here this evening, and the Wildcats have a 16-point lead.
Well, a lot of post defense, as I said, Tony, is just staying down and making the guy try to score over you. Sometimes they will, but a lot of times guys get angled to the basket or try to make a home run play. Bassett has just been very, very solid with his post defense.
McEwen runs one off the rim from 3. Loose ball knocked out of bounds, and it will go to Idaho.
And I talked about Dylan Jones, what an instinctive rebounder he was, how he rebounds out of area, coaches call that. He came from the left side of the basket then, or right around the basket and chased that down about 10 feet from the basket. But the conference leading scorer only had 1 rebound at halftime. Remember, he had a little bit of foul trouble and didn't play as many minutes as what he normally does. In fact, he played 9.5 minutes.
Dixon for 3, no. And it has been tough for him tonight offensively when it comes to trying to score. Same thing for Anderson. As Overton goes to Bassett, who tries to sky in. Great defensive play by Christensen. Dixon to the paint, back to Anderson, guarded heavily by McEwen. Goes underneath, and Christensen is negated there at the rim.
Boy, and Christian,
Soho Jawara the other direction.
Christian's coming off probably a career game for him, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and he's having trouble sticking a fork in it around the basket right now.
Dixon to the hoop. Able to get his first bucket of the second half, the first field goal for Idaho in the second half. They've cut the lead back to 14.
And as I said, you drop your guard for a second on Dixon or Anderson, and they make you pay. They can get to the basket quick as a hiccup if you're not careful.
Overton to Bassett. Bassett back to Overton. He can't finish the short one, gets it back, and takes care of that one.
That was a really nice cut. He missed that easy one, went right back up and got it in, but that ball went to the post. A lot of times the defense kind of get mesmerized by watching the ball. Overton made a really nice instinctive cut, I call that, to the basket. Both teams have been strictly man-to-man this entire game. The Vandals a little zone.
In scoring at 17.5 a game. Second in the conference at free throw percentage, 88%. And he misfires, he splits those.
How about that? That's his second miss of the game for Mikey Dixon. A guy made 46 of his last 48 free throws.
Some things have not gone well for him tonight, but lately attacking, just getting to the rim. Overton attacking. But we'll go to the free throw line after being fouled.
And Idaho, after I said both teams have played straight man-to-man, came out in, I believe that was a 2-3 zone then that Weber State made pretty short order of getting that ball to the short corner, to a cutter, to the second cutter. Boy, they didn't take any time of setting up against that zone and doing a nice job there.
So Jamil King will come in for Mikey Dixon.
Overton now with 10, which is his 11th game of the year in double digits. The season high was 21 early in the year, and a nice win by the Wildcats over UMass.
Overton splits the free throws, the lead at 16. How dangerous are these moments here coming up for Idaho, this next stretch of play, these few minutes?
Well, you've got to cut into the lead, but you've got to get stops. Everyone wants to say you've got to make baskets to cut this lead. They've got to get stops down at this other end. Down 14, plenty of time, but they've got to get it started from the defensive end. You see there, as I had talked about earlier, any kind of ball screen with Overton, they go under and dare him to shoot it from the three-point line.
McEwen across for Overton. Zaire Porter, the fadeaway. No. And I don't think that's what Randy Ray wanted out of that possession.
And Idaho played just that one possession of 2-3 coming out of that timeout. And what that does, that kind of takes away a set play from Weber State. If Randy Ray said, we're going to run this play expecting man-to-man, they gave up 1 point out of it when they sent the guy to the free throw line.
Anderson unable to connect on that three.
Weber State's done a nice job once again on those two Vandal guards, really locating them at the three-point line.
For Anderson, 1 of 5 from the field here at this moment. And a beautiful move there by Carlson.
Love the way Cody Carlson, excuse me, Tony, took his time there, backed his guy down, no double team. He's a guy that started every game last year and started, I think, the first 9 or first 8 this year, and then kind of lost his way a little bit. It's good to see him have a little success on that low post catch.
Heppel from 10.
How about that shot? That was kind of up and over Carlson.
And a turnover. Peppel playing some defensive back down the field there against Carlson.
You know what? That long half-court lob pass has a very low completion rate. That was probably a bad decision by Kobe McEwen. Again, that's just a tough pass where you want to reward a big guy running down the court, but I'm not sure Kobe went about it in the right manner that time.
Ball knocked away and stolen. Here comes Overton. Skies in. Overton now with 12. And Weber State back up 16. That has to be frustrating after getting a stop, having a chance to cut into that lead more, and it's back to 16.
14 turnovers now for the Vandals, and that has just absolutely killed them. And Weber State has turned that into 12 points pretty easily down at the other end.
Anderson bumped and fouled, and they'll inbound from the side with 11:46 to go here in the game. Still down by 16. As tonight, the Weber State Wildcats been able to stay out in front for most of the second half right here on ESPN+. Welcome you back to Ogden as we resume action here tonight. 16-point lead for Weber State over Idaho. As a quick catch and shoot there from the corner is no good by Quinnett, and it's going to go back to Weber State. Coach, the Big Sky Conference standings, so many teams bunched right up there at the top. As Weber State, Southern Utah, Northern Colorado, all 3-1 coming into tonight. Montana State, Montana at 4-2, Eastern Washington at 3-2. It is going to be a fun battle all throughout that conference, all throughout the year, as Carlson unable to hit from there.
A lot of basketball yet to be played, and a lot of teams are going to have to kind of suck it up, so to speak, with these cancellations. A lot of teams are going to have to play 3 games in a week, just as Weber State will have to do, I believe, next week. They go, their games this Saturday got canceled. Nice drive.
No basket.
Whoa.
As Porter making his claim, thought he had the and one. Now I'll be doing the G League basketball game tomorrow night with the Stars and the Lakers. That undoubtedly would have counted. Would you like to see more continuation at the college level now that some players have become more and more skilled and the game is evolving?
Well, if we go that direction, everyone's got to be on the same page.
Right.
You can't have an official call that way, the next official call it a continuation. I'd be okay with calling continuation. I think it kind of opens things up a little bit more. But, like a lot of things in college basketball and the rules, they haven't called me lately to ask what my opinion is. I would give it to them if they called, but they may not have my number, Tony. I don't know.
So Soho Jawara, pretty move. He has 13, and Weber State is now up 18.
Jawara coming off a game. Just fair for him. 6 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist over at Montana. Really having a nice complete game today.
A drive, a block by Bassett, but a foul as Jameel King was on his way up.
One thing that Randy Ray's got to feel pretty good about, while they haven't put up eye-popping stats, Bassett and Carlson have been pretty steady tonight, and that's all you need to have out of those two guys with that size at 6'10" and 6'9", and they started in those two positions, started alongside of one another last year for most of the year, but they've been pretty solid tonight, I think, especially at the defensive end.
Jameel King making the first free throw. He had 11 points against Eastern Washington, has his first 2 now here tonight, as Mikey Dixon comes in for King.
Well, these Vandals had 5 guys in double figures against the Eagles at Eastern Washington and scored 93 points. Boy, they're a long way from 93 points here tonight. Weber's done a nice job of keeping them off the free throw line and guarding their 3-point shooters.
Zaire Porter has played really well off the bench, especially in some stretches here when it was foul trouble for Dylan Jones, and then even here in this second half.
Randy Ray's done a nice job kind of pushing all the buttons, playing his bench, and getting some real nice combinations in there.
There's Dixon with a nice step back three, and you're seeing some of that explosiveness he can have on the offensive end. Porter's bumped on that drive, and a foul is called.
Well, Dixon kind of created some space with Jawara guarding. Jawara with good size and a good solid defender. Jawara 6'3", 210, and Dixon kind of bumped him off a little bit there, and then created, as I say, a little space to get to that jump shot.
Bassett to work on Peppel. Beautifully done. Dante Bassett. That's his first bucket of the game, Coach, but he's done so many things so well tonight.
Well, he's been solid at the defensive end, as I said, and if you let he and Cody Carlson catch it and back you down like that, Idaho has chosen not to come double that, which I think is the right decision. But the defensive post guy has got to be more of a physical presence there and just not let Bassett and Carlson back you in, and then rhythm right to a shot. And you see the way they're playing a couple of the perimeter guys for the Wildcats there. Porter that time of that handoff, they gave him plenty of room from the three-point line.
Great tap out by Kohler, but Porter unable to hit that three. And Dixon trying to cut into that lead. It's now at 17, and a three on the left angle is good. Idaho has punched back nicely. It's a 14-point game with 9:10 left to play here in this second half with Coach Joe Cravens. I'm Tony Parks. Thanks so much for being with us here tonight. Big Sky basketball, Weber State at 3-1. And it's Idaho looking for their first conference win and their first road win. McEwen misfires on the three, and Dixon the board. It's an important stretch here for Idaho with a real chance to continue cutting into the lead.
Well, Weber State now 0 for 7 in this half from a three-point line. And coming out of that timeout, going back to their small lineup, taking Bassett out. Now Dylan Jones being the post, I guess you would say, at 6'6". So Weber State, while they are very athletic right now, they're not very big.
For a minute, it looked like Weber State might be able to take off with this, but Idaho has said not so fast. Great fight from this team.
Idaho, a very explosive team, the way they shoot it from three. If you leave them open, you leave a crack in the door, they're going to make you pay.
Smith has 11, goes to the overside, a three on the way, and it's good. Bertain hits a three, and it's down to an 11-point lead.
This is following a very similar script to what happened in Cheney last week against Eastern Washington.
Jones is blocked by Peppel and a foul. The Idaho bench certainly did not like that one. They felt like Peppel had great defensive position and had a block.
Jones kind of having a somewhat quiet game here, Tony. 6 points, 6 rebounds. That was after coming off that career game in Missoula where he had 17 points and 16 rebounds.
He's a guy that could play with great point guard skills as well as playing well in the paint. Learned to become such a great point guard because his brother, who's quite a few years older than he is, they were the same size. His brother played at Miami of Ohio, taught him a lot about the point guard positions, where he learned a lot about being an unselfish player to go with that too. He's a terrific story. He splits the free throws. The lead is at 12.
Dylan Jones, 6'6", 235. If he's playing point, there's not many bigger point guards in the nation than that.
He's built well too. Pass underneath for Smith. And he can't come up with it on the other end. McEwen out to the corner. Kohler for three. And it was a big one at that. The girls lead up to 15 and now 16. Kohler, a 75% free throw shooter. Quietly one of the best offensive players nationally with offensive rating. He's 43rd. As a fadeaway is no good from Mikey Dixon.
Well, Kohler now with 9 points, and he breaks an 0 for 7 streak for the Wildcats from the three-point line here in the second half.
Now McEwen whips a cross-court pass.
McEwen has
Sissoko Jawara. No. And you could feel the fans were about ready to explode with that one.
The Wildcats 1 for 9 now from the three-point line.
An answer on the other end, back to 13.
Transition defense. Weber has not only got to get back, they've got to get back and locate shooters at that three-point line.
Jones, no. The follow-up was no good.
Tony, one thing that Weber State coaching staff has to feel good about, their bench has scored 20 points tonight for them. Kohler leading that attack with 8.
Dixon got a little space, misfired on that three, but a loose ball foul is going to be called against Weber State.
Guess that goes against Kobe McEwen. I would suspect only his second foul.
And only the 4th team foul against Weber State.
Weber State does a nice job of not fouling. We talked about tonight one of the games within the games. University of Idaho averages 22 free throws a game, and Weber State's opponents only average 12 free throws a game, which is very, very good. As I said, only one guy all year for Weber State has fouled out of the game, and that's J.J. Overton, who was fouled out 3 times. That's an amazing stat, Tony, that they can defend as solid as they do and not get in any foul trouble.
Yeah, 21st in the nation with free throws made. So as you mentioned, they get to the free throw line, make a number of them, and defend well without fouling. An offensive foul on a moving screen.
And that was Pepple's foul, but that was actually Anderson's fault. Anderson started his dribble move way before Pepple got set, and that's what normally happens. If you start trying to use that ball screen before the guy gets set, it normally ends up being an offensive foul. I bet that never happened to John Stockton and Carl Malone. John Stockton would wait till the cows came home to get Malone set.
Boy, those two were one mind, were they not?
Were they good at that?
Dixon almost lost it, got it back. They'll call it travel. Oh, and the Idaho coaching staff is irate about it. They thought there was contact, which should have been leading to a foul.
16 turnovers now for the Vandals. Weber State has been stuck on 6. They've done a pretty nice job of taking care of the ball tonight. I think the one thing that has impressed me most with this Weber State team is their bench play. J.J. Overton and doing what he does best, getting to the paint and with those long, long arms jumping up over the defense.
I think the most important thing for Overton, he knows what he is and knows what he's not. There's Bertain with a hot hand, but unable to get that one to go.
And what you said, Tony, is the most important thing about trying to guard J.J. Overton. You've got to know he's going to put the ball on the floor and drive it and not shoot it from out at the three-point line. J.J. Overton has only attempted 15 three-point shots this year.
Well, this might get intense here for a moment. Idaho thought they had drawn a charge, but they may have a block in the restricted area. And the officials are at the table to have the conversation.
Jawora's had a very, I think, kind of under the radar type game with 13 points, 4 rebounds, but no assists. Kobe McEwen leads them with 4 assists. Weber State with 6 assists overall. And playing Idaho even on the glass after trailing them all the way through the first half. It's now 29-29 rebounding-wise.
Boy, and Idaho really needed that call there. That would have been a big chance for them to get the ball back and get a stop. Instead, right there, it turns into a blocking foul and a chance for a one-on-one opportunity at the free throw line for Jawara, and he makes both.
15 points for Jawara now, his 7th double-digit game of this season.
Anderson a 3. Trevante Anderson, the junior from Tacoma, whose scoring average is up 11 points a game from last year. McEwen, he'll go to the line.
Weber State with those great perimeter athletes just stays in attack mode. They just come after you, especially in the open court. Remember, Kobe McEwen got that all the way to the paint. That was after a made basket. That's when you're transition defense should be at its best, but it's hard to stay in front of the likes of Overton, McEwen, and not Dylan Jones, but Jawara. All those guys can get to the basket.
McEwen makes both. The lead is back up to 16. Just over 5 minutes left to play here in regulation.
Zach Claus still exhorting his team on. Is that the right word, Tony? Exhorting? Is that, or did I just make that up? I kind of said that on the run.
No, I'm trying to.
He's cheering for his team. Let's put it that way. Maybe he's
exerting effort and exerting emotion.
I'm going to look that up. I think exhorting is a word. That may, I don't know. I may have just made that up too.
Oh, I mean, you made up a number of phrases. Boy, I tell you, Bartain has had the hot hand. I don't know about the way he has played. Nolan with another bucket there.
He has not played since December 18th, but he's not wasting any time padding that scoring average.
Jawara fading away, no good. Idaho down 14. Still trying to play with some force here in this moment to cut into it and try to make it interesting. They did that against Eastern Washington. Down 10. Not much time left. We're able to storm back, but turnovers aren't going to help. Overton is on the other end after the pass from Dylan Jones, and Overton will go to the line. And Coach Claus, I should say, hand on his knees, leaning forward. And Coach Claus has had those moments where you can see the bright, positive plays, and then the exhaustion from the negative, timely plays. He feels like he has something there with a number of these guys.
No question.
This team is better than what their record is saying.
Well, they've got 17 turnovers, and, 17 turnovers with just under 5 minutes left in the game, that would make a preacher cuss. 17, that's 17 possessions you don't get a shot, and 17 times you let the other team catch it in the open court and try to score, and that will be the death of many coaches.
And turnovers are not all created equal. Some of them are dead ball from the baseline, and others are live ball above that three-point arc.
Well, it's tough to guard.
That can be really tough to get stops.
You talk about defensive field goal percentage. It's tough to guard those run-out threes or run-out baskets off of a turnover that way. So this Vandal team, while they have a lot of firepower, boy, they're going to have to learn to take care of the basketball.
6 transfers, 3 freshmen on this roster for Coach Claus. Nice drive, nice finish. Mikey Dixon.
That's as good a hesitation move as you'll see all year. Mikey Dixon going to the baseline and, boy, just standing his defender up there. Watch Overton kind of give up his stance on that hesitation. That was pretty slick there.
Completes the three-point play. And gets it down to 12. They had it down to 10 against Eastern Washington with about this much time.
Just about. Almost the same script, as I said.
Yeah.
Extending their defense now, trying to maybe get a steal and an easy one to cut into this 12-point lead. There's been one possession of zone played the whole game when Idaho came out of a timeout, which I thought was a pretty good move.
McEwen cutting into that lead, getting it down to as many as 12 there for a moment, and they were not going away, but Weber State with some timely buckets, including the and one from Kobe McEwen, has now made it a 15-point lead again.
Well, that's about as good a finish as you're going to see in college basketball this year, what you just witnessed Kobe McEwen do.
Dixon has had some outstanding moments here in this second half as he pours in that three, give him 17 points. And 13 of those have come in the second half.
Right at his season average.
Dylan Jones for Sissoko. Jawara makes it but stepped out of bounds. A big break here for Idaho.
Only the 7th turnover for the Wildcats. The Vandals, their Achilles heel all night, have been not taking care of the basketball. 18 turnovers for the Vandals.
Jamil King on that finish there makes it a 10-point game. And Coach Claus up the court encouraging his team to get another stop and another score.
And if the Vandals can get a score here, cut this thing to single digits, that's going to make the finish pretty interesting. And the Vandals once again choosing not to come double team. Dylan Jones over the 6'10", Tanner Christensen.
Jones with a tough bucket there. And a takeaway and a steal. Jones gets it. A little quirky on the way up, but it counts.
Looked like he about had a blowout there, didn't he?
Almost
on the
blew
way
a tire.
Out. Yeah.
King!
Many minutes tonight playing small with Dylan Jones as their post. Now, as you see Dylan Jones go from post to playing point guard and bringing the ball up. This is what's called playing point guard by committee, pretty much, if you're a Wildcat fan.
McEwen back to Jones. A steal by Smith. Ahead for Dixon. Idaho down so much of the night. They've responded so many times. 2-on-1, it's Overton, and one. Back up 10.
Boy, Overton is just terrific in the open court when he catches it like that. I mean, he can get there in a hurry, brother, to the rim. And he has had a very nice game. 17 points now for J.J. Overton, coming off an 11.6 rebound game over in Missoula.
He leads all scorers now with 18 with a free throw good.
His 11th double-digit game of the year, season high 21.
Anderson misses on the three. Overton the rebound.
And the Vandals, before that basket by Overton, just about picked off that pass to the middle out of their press, which would have made things real interesting. But there was no mistake when J.J. Overton caught it. He was going right to the rack with him.
McEwen, pass to the middle, nearly stolen. Jones will go to Sissoko Jawara. He beats the clock. It is a 14-point lead. Idaho trailing here and trying to continue to battle as Smith goes in. Sky's home, and he has 10 points on there, 13 points on the night. He had 8 at halftime. Been very active out there on the floor tonight.
He certainly has.
McEwen lost it, loose ball foul. And Anderson gets hit on that. That indeed, I think, was a loose ball foul.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't look at that to see if that could have been called some kind of a flagrant foul.
Did hit him in the face.
Yeah. They made a job in this game, kind of with his sideline demeanor and his body language. He's been very positive tonight with his team. When there's times that maybe he couldn't have been positive, but he's done a nice job of that.
I like his work with this group, and they have a little ways to go, but they have some things you certainly like about them when you have a chance to watch them up close.
A very dangerous team, the way they can score the ball and their athleticism. Last year that you could kind of mark one down in the right-hand side of the one-loss column against them last year, but you certainly can't do that this year.
And they don't go away. I'll tell you what, they showed some real mental toughness here tonight. Got down big a few different times and kept battling back with timely play after timely play. Now it's just about stringing together positive plays more often. Under 5, Kohler will go to the line. And the Weber State Wildcats have had some possessions you definitely don't want when trying to preserve a lead. And they've had a few possessions you love to have. Well, draining 30 seconds, getting a bucket, late in the shot clock, getting to the line.
When they play this small lineup, while they have not shot it well for 2 straight games now from the three-point line, if you're playing man-to-man with this small lineup, they put 5 guys out there can break you down off the dribble, which they just showed, and that's really hard to do, is keeping guys out of the paint off the dribble.
Tyson Kohler cashes in there at the free throw line. He now has the 11. Weber State's 12-point lead. With 27 seconds left, the foul on Sissoko Jawara. And Idaho will go to the free throw line.
The Tyson Kohler, to me,
1-1.
has been a very pleasant surprise for this Weber State team. He kind of came in here, to me, very, very much under the radar. He's played in all 15 games, all 16 now. He's had no starts, but this is his third double-digit game. We talked about hitting 3 threes in Bozeman, a very tough place to play. And the thing is, you can just see not only his confidence grow each game, but the confidence that the coaches have in him grow through the season.
Well, free throw is good here.
10-point game, but I'm afraid it's going to be too little too late here if the Wildcats just take care of the basketball.
For Weber State, the win here today, Coach, moves them to 4-1 in Big Sky play. So even though they had lost 4 out of 5 coming into tonight, the Big Sky play has been intact for them. They had some really great moments here tonight. Both teams did. And it'll be fun because, as you know, it comes down to